So today I'm gonna talk a little bit about me and my history, because probably, as you might know, I think you know, I had cancer a few years ago. So I thought about doing this as my first video to give you more like a presentation about me, but it's kind of hard to talk about stuff like this, so I've been recording and deleting and recording and deleting, and I'm not satisfied, and no, it's just not that fun to talk about, of course, and it's just hard to talk about, to be honest. So today I'm gonna do it. Let's see if I'm gonna delete it or not. Hopefully not, but yeah, I hope it's gonna give you a little bit of a wider picture of me and why I am like I am. And oh my god, this is gonna be hard. Bear with me, I'm gonna do my best. So, where do I even start? I'm just gonna sit here in my living room talking to my camera with a light in my face, waiting for my boyfriend to get off school so we can go to the gym. But anyhow, I've always been very, very skinny. I remember a certain day in my life that I knew that other people noticed it as well. So I went to the United States with my grandpa and his woman and my mother and my brother. I was age 12 at the time, and we went to Disney World, and everything was like magic, and I was happy, and yeah, everything was just great. Then we stood in a line to an attraction, and a guy behind my grandpa picked on his shoulder like this, and then he whispered, "You need to tell your child in front of you to start eating more. She's so skinny." And I heard it, and he was like, okay, weird, I guess. And he didn't know that I heard, but I did, and that's a thing that never got out of my mind. Just a simple thing like that never left my mind. So think about that when you say things to people or stuff like that, because the little things just mess with your brain and sticks, I promise you. So that's when I started feeling bad about being skinny, because I knew I was skinny. I mean, I hated a picture of myself, and I always dressed in these big clothes and big shoes, even though I have small feet. I have like tiny feet, but I put on like huge shoes, huge jackets and baggy pants just to cover up that I was skinny. So skinny has never been like a positive word for me. I know that some of you think that skinny is the best, but it's not. So I always been active. I've been horseback riding for most of my life. I've been into snowboarding. I played football. So I've been active, yeah, but I never gained a muscle in my life. I just lost weight. So when me and my current boyfriend moved in together, I don't even remember how old I was. Some in the beginning of my 20s. And he was very into working out, so I started to go with him to the gym. I didn't like it. I just stood on the treadmill or something and then went home, because it wasn't for me. But then I started to lift. I was like, goodbye cardio machine, let's get over to the weights. This isn't working. So I started to lift, and some time along the way I started to think, this is funny. So, you guys, this is hard to talk about. So I was like very into lifting. Started to gain some muscle, and I was very happy about that. Not much, but at least something. And one day, me and my boyfriend had been out in the snow doing like this hike, and we got back inside and took all our clothes off, and it was like I was scratching my body because I was all itchy about, you know, when you're being cold and then you get warm when you get inside. So I just scratched my neck like this and I felt like a lump right here. And it's you know, these lymph nodes that could swell up when you're having a cold or some kind of infection in your body. So I just thought that it had something to do with the cold, because I've been outside in the cold, so maybe they are just swollen. The thing is, I got scared because it was just on one side. That's never a good thing. And to the story, my grandma died of some lymph node cancer before I was born. So that's always been in my thoughts. You know, I thought about this for such a long time before this even happened, and I probably die the same way as my grandma. Such a weird thing to think when you're like 15 years old, but that's how I just thought about it. And I googled it. That's the worst thing you can do, but I googled it. And what popped up? You have cancer. Great. To be honest, I like broke down totally. I went to a doctor. He told me I was fine, this is perfectly normal and you're way too young to have cancer. Yeah, right. And then he told me you can come back if it's still swollen after like a month or so. I couldn't wait a month. I was back in the hospital within 2 weeks and I was like freaking the fuck out because it was still big. And he told me the same thing again. Why are you here? You don't need to be nervous, you're all sweaty. Calm down, you don't have cancer, what are you afraid of? Like that. And he decided to stick a needle in my lymph node to do this like needle biopsy, I think. No, he was like, I'm gonna talk to my, I don't know what it's called in English, like the doctor above the doctor. In Swedish it's called överläkare. So she was like an older woman. She came in and she was like feeling my neck and she decided to do this needle biopsy. And it came back and it was nothing. They didn't find anything. So I went home and I went back again a few weeks later because it was still big. And by that time I think it had become 2. It's so hard to feel when it's inside your body, but I think it was 2. And they took a bigger needle and did it again. They didn't find anything, came back perfectly normal. And by that time I started to think, man, I don't have cancer. This is good. This is good news. Because they did 2 biopsies and didn't find anything. So, I mean, if it's cancer, you're gonna find it, right? That's what I thought. But, so I went back to do a surgery. They was gonna take like a piece out from my lymph node to do some research on. So the thing is, I was gonna be awake during the surgery, only like numb, but it was so deep in my neck that I was awake because they couldn't put me to sleep during the process. So I was awake and it was terrible because it took hours and then I had to spend the night at the hospital. And the result came back and it still looked perfectly fine. They didn't find anything. So I had to go to the hospital again because I was like, I can't live with this lump on my neck, you need to remove it, get it out of me ASAP. So I went into the surgery thinking they were just going to remove something that shouldn't be there for me to look good again, look like I had a normal neck. But they thought they were going to remove it and send it away to do some research on, because they still hadn't found what it was. So I was fine. I thought this whole cancer thing was over, but it came back a few weeks later, and they called me and was like, could you please come to the hospital, to the blood department? We need to talk to you. And I was like, what? Blood? What's wrong with my blood? I mean, the thoughts that went into my head, because I didn't think that lymphoma had something to do with blood. So, oh my god, my head just spent like 360 in 1 second. So I went to pick up my boyfriend at work, and I was like, you need to go to the hospital with me, because I need to find out now. I can't wait till tomorrow. Something's wrong with my blood. So he and I went to the hospital, and I was waiting outside because I was like dying inside, to be honest. Couldn't breathe, couldn't eat. So he went into the hospital and came out and told me, calm down. And I was in the driver's seat, and he was like, shall we switch? And I was like, man, this is serious. This is serious. This is fucking over for me. I'm sorry. So we switched seats, and he told me, yes, you do have cancer. And he said, calm down, it's treatable, but I didn't listen one word after the cancer word dropped. So I cried, and I called my mother, and they weren't at home, and oh, such a mess. The day after I started my treatment, so this thing went fast, because this was some aggressive cancer. The day after, they put some kind of tube from here, I have a little scar here, straight into my heart, because the chemo the chemo need to go to the heart to be pumped out quickly in the body. And they also took like this bone marrow biopsy, I think it's called. And that was the worst thing ever, because you can get numbed in your skin, but not in your bones. So the doctor was pretty much on top of me, like drilling my bones to get underneath my bones, and I can't even explain. I was crying, my mother was crying, it was just terrible, crazy. Thought I was in some kind of nightmare. I didn't think this was a reality for me. I started thinking they must have mixed up my test with someone else, because I was perfectly fine. I was in the gym, I was healthy, I was eating pretty good, blah blah blah, but no, that was me. I was there, I lie there, crazy. I can't explain how it felt, 'cause, to be honest, I pretty much pushed that feelings aside by now. Oh, I started to sweat right now. So hard to talk about. You still can't believe I had cancer. Who could? Who could? I was mid-20s. So anyhow, I started with chemo the day after, and my hair started to fall out by the second chemo treatment, and I decided to shave it when I was home alone. I grabbed my boyfriend's shaver and I remember me standing in the mirror and like, fuck, I look like a boy, I'm not pretty anymore, this is terrible, I need to call my boyfriend and tell him it's okay if he want to break up with me. I know it sounds weird right now, but that's how I dealt with it at the time. To be honest, he thought I was cute, he thought I looked like a coconut. But I had a wig on for the most of the time. Yeah, I also got to know this girl online, Rebecca Wiley from England. She turned out she had cancer as well, so we like connected online, and she was like the most amazing girl ever. She honestly made me make it through my journey, and just as I was done, she found out her cancer was back, and she had cancer in her stomach. And a year after that, she passed away. She hadn't even turned 30 yet. Life is just too unfair. Horrible. I miss her every day. She was the only one I showed everything for. I didn't even tell my mom everything. That's tough to talk about. I want to talk about her every day, but I can't say her name without starting to cry. Just now I miss her so much. So, get a grip. She will be forever, forever, forever remembered in my heart. And that's the story I'm gonna keep her. So, move on. After my chemo, I went to radiation because, for now, according to my doctor, they don't know what's the better treatment. Back in the days, they only used radiation for lymphoma. At least the ones they only found in one place. You can have it like under your arms or here or pretty much all over your body, but because it's a blood cancer, it's spreading through your blood, only radiation doesn't work. So I it's a crazy story. I asked my doctor, because I was like a pro at googling things at the time. So I asked my doctor why I needed this amount of chemo and not radiation, and he told me, you decide what you need. Do you want to do less chemo and add radiation, or do you want to do only chemo and more chemo? And I was like, no more chemo, please. I had started to feel like crap. The first sessions went pretty fine, but the more I had, the worse I felt. So I decided, no more chemo, let's move on to radiation. And radiation, they only had in like 3 or 4, maybe 5 places in Sweden. So I had to travel by car for hours a day. And the actual radiation sessions only took like 5 minutes. And I was so tired. I couldn't keep my eyes open from the chemo, not from the radiation, but so I had like my mom and my boyfriend and my dad to drive me because I couldn't do it alone. So that went on for 3 weeks, and then I was done. So now I'm going to the hospital once a year to do a checkup and take some blood tests and whatever, and like feel my lymph node stations and so on. I did go, the first year I went like every 3rd month and then every 6th month, and now I'm gonna go once a year until it's been 5 years. And let's hope I never get to see the cancer again. Please, 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 please. I don't wish that upon my worst enemy, because it's just something you don't want to deal with or have in your family, or just fucking kill cancer. It's so unnecessary. It brings so much sadness and like, it's such a terrible sickness that you have. Of course, I'm thinking about the cancer coming back like every day. That's something I'm just gonna learn to live with. I will never be the same girl as I was before. But I decided I wasn't gonna take one picture of myself being bald, being in the hospital, or anything like that. Because I was like, fuck this. I'm sorry again. I'm I'm not gonna be the sick girl. I'm gonna be the one I was before this. I'm still in my mid-20s, I'm still the same girl. I wanna have like the same kind of guy, hair, nails, pathetic problems. I don't wanna have this as my problem. I'm gonna be the same girl. People are not gonna feel sorry for me. So that's what I did. That's why I haven't shared anything. I mean, something, but not much of my story, because I don't want you to feel sorry for me, because it's not sorry. You don't need to feel sorry for me. That's the worst thing. I hate when people feel sorry for me. So please don't feel sorry for me. Because you don't need to. Thank you. Yeah. So every time you see like this sick boy or girl online being bawling in the hospital, being thin, being weak, I've been there. I just didn't take picture of it. Everyone has their own way of dealing with things, and this was my way. So that's it. And when I was done with my treatments, I was scared of everything. I was scared of food, I was scared of everything non-organic, I was scared of toothpaste, shampoos. I threw everything out. I replaced it with organic stuff, and like didn't eat almost nothing. I couldn't even look at a strawberry that it wasn't organic. I thought everything was gonna poison me. So I was down to 48 kilos by the time. Very, very skinny. Almost only bones. A little skin. No muscles at all. I lost everything. I mean, 48 kilos for me, I'm 168 centimeters. 48 kilos for me is just not enough, according to me. So once I got a grip over myself and my thinking, I started to eating again. I needed to gain my weight back, and not only back, I needed more. And I went back to the gym, wearing my wig, and it was itchy as hell. I was like, ah! You know, when I started to sweat and the itchy wig, and I was like, oh my god, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and I did it. So start today, because you won't regret it, I promise you. Start today. Because now I'm looking back at my journey, and I'm so happy I started that day, even though I had a wig and didn't want to leave my house. So that's when my journey started, as a skinny bunny again. Back at it again. But with a hell of a lot of poison in my body. But you see, if I did it after pumping my body with pretty much poison, you can do it. I promise you can do it. Or you can do it so good, you can probably do it faster than me, better than me, but you can do it. And that's all that counts. So go ahead and just start with the journey today. And if you already started, keep going. Because you will never regret starting with fitness or eating healthy or anything. Because your body is the one thing you're gonna live in for the rest of your life. And my body has already been through more than pretty much a 60-year-old body, but I'm gonna keep on going, giving it my best, and see for how long it's gonna keep me alive. A very long time, I hope, because I love life. So I started to eat again. Because first I then went vegan, because I was so afraid of meat and everything I have read. Protein is dangerous, blah blah blah. I just kept losing weight. Then I started to eat normal again, or normal, whatever you want to call it. And I started to get muscles, started to gain weight, started to feel good. So I just kept going. I always wanted to be. So my camera died because my memory card thinks I'm talking too much. So I'm gonna end this vlog, because I do talk too much. But I always wanted to be a vegan, but I've been scared I'm gonna lose weight again. I don't want to lose weight. Nope. I mean, I could take some fat from here and there, but that's not how it works. So, but I need to keep my muscles that I worked hard for, so I don't want to lose weight. But I started to eat more and more plant-based now to see how it goes, and so far so good, and I'm happy and I'm enjoying life and I'm healthy as far as I know. And as I said in my last vlog, maybe I will go full-time vegan sooner than later. We're just gonna have to see. But as for now, I'm pretty happy with my results and the way I eat and the way I feel, because that's the most important thing, is how you feel inside. I mean, the outside is one thing, but the inside you're gonna have to live with forever. Your outside will change, whether you like it or not. I think I'm gonna see some wrinkles up here. So I won't be changing that with a banana, but anyhow. Thank you so much for watching. I'm pretty sure I left out a bunch of things and I talked about things I shouldn't have talked about or whatever, but this is just me being honest. And I just did one retake when I started to cry, so I've just been bubbling on for the entire video. So this is no like retakes or reading notes or being professional. This is me being me, because that's how I want my channel to be, being real. So I hope you appreciate that, and I hope you learned something about me, and maybe you learned something about you during the way. Because if you're going through, I can't speak anymore. If you're going through something bad, a tough period or whatever, please know that you can make it. You can make it, and you won't only make it, you will come back even stronger, feeling better about yourself, being powerful, being you, and that's like the most amazing feeling in the world, I promise you. So now I'm gonna just end the video. Thank you for putting up with me for this long. I see myself in the camera and I don't even know how I'm gonna bear to watch myself for this long. But thank you so much. I love you. Take care of yourself and don't care what others think of you, because what you think of you is the most important thing. Thank you also to my family and my boyfriend for being there, and my friends for being there for me always and forever, and my dogs who are sleeping next to me, because they've been like super duper good to me during my journey, especially the white one, because the grey one wasn't born, and the brown one is kind of a loner. He likes to be alone. Anyhow, we had some amazing cuddling times, because a dog is so, yeah, it's like a friend. You see, I can't even end this video, sorry. See you at the next vlog. That's gonna be a workout, I'm gonna be more positive, and yes, let's bring this YouTube